I regularly get asked, how do I manage to do other things as a teacher? Somebody runs a small business, somebody does a part-time PhD. How do I have the time? Now, I think actually what people are asking me in that question is, how do I stay on top of my workload as a teacher? Because that is definitely one of the things that is crippling a lot of teachers. It's a real struggle in the Department of Education, anyone who works in the education sector. So not just teachers, we're talking teaching assistants, learning support, admin staff, anyone who works in our offices. Everyone is struggling with the workload of education right now. But how do I manage my workload? So I can only obviously speak as a teacher, but I imagine some of these things might be able to be pulled through to some of the other sectors because I don't want to miss you guys out as well. Number one, I make sure that my PPAs are only ever productive. I am actually very, very strict with myself and I'm very disciplined that I don't ever sit here during my PPA not doing anything. I don't go and have conversations with people. If I want to have a chat and a chinwag with people, that happens after school. That happens in my own time, and that's only if I feel like staying late because I want to have a chat with my friends. On that note though, because I don't believe that PPAs are actually enough time to get all of teaching work planned, no matter how productive you are, I do make sure I utilise downtime or independent work time. So whenever the kids are doing something on their own, I have a culture in my classroom that means that the kids do work when I expect them to work, and we have a level of respect that they know if I've sat down at my desk, they should be getting on with something. They're generally going to get on with it, and if I then walk around the class and see that they're not doing it, then I'm going to be more in their face and I'm going to be standing up and watching them and hovering over them. So generally the kids like to just get on with it because they know that I'll leave them alone if they're getting on with what they should be. Now the next one potentially is a little bit controversial, and I do understand if not everyone can do this, but I do get into work early so that I can get stuff done before the day has even started. Now I prefer getting in early than staying late because I really like my time in the evenings and I like to go home and go and do other stuff. But I will get into work as early as I can so that if I have any extra planning that needs doing, I can go and get it done. It just means that I can get on top of my to-do list nice and early on in the day and I don't need to stress about it later on in the day. And finally, giving myself time to do other things is actually mainly down to me having boundaries. I have boundaries. I go home, basically, once the kids have gone, I will try and get out the door. At the very latest, I'll stay until about 4 o'clock if I needed to get some content, if I needed to clean out the fish tank, for example. It is very rare that I'm actually working on teaching work after work if I'm still here, but generally that's my boundary because I know I want to go home, I want to go and work on my business, I need to go pack some orders, or I want to go and study for my PhD. That I have these boundaries in place to make sure that I have time to do those things. So yeah, those are my tips for making sure my workload stays down and I get time to myself and do whatever I want to do. What are your tips? Pop them in the comments.